Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. Welcome to live Q&A. I'm going to be on for about the next 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes around 45 minutes, depending on questions you guys have. And sitting here drinking my red monster. I got a couple in the fridge just in case you guys get hyperactive today. And before I get into the topic, guys, I just want to make you aware of a couple of things. I've started doing online weight loss coaching, and you guys can go over to superlivingtoday.com. I offer complete coaching services. I've taken on a few clients already yesterday, and that was the first day that I actually opened it. So if you want weight loss coaching, head over to superlivingtoday.com, or you can check out the link below. I also do workout assessments, form assessments, or whatever. What's going on, guys? I'm going to open up today. I had somebody on Instagram ask me, hey, big, hairy, ugly dude, how do you build big shoulders? How do you build big shoulders? So I'm just going to give you guys a quick overview. The biggest reason why guys aren't building big shoulders is they're not doing enough. Yep, Tom nailed it. They're not doing enough overhead presses. I see guys in the gym just doing a lot of lightweight front laterals and side laterals and rear laterals and face pulls. And the stuff they're doing this with, the weight they're using is so wimpy. What's going on, Tom? What's going on? NT, NV, LGS, all kinds of letters. Yeah, they're using a lot of lightweight stuff. And really, the key to big shoulders is I want you guys to do 2 exercises a week, whether it's a split or full body. I don't care. I don't want to get into that, but I want you to do a seated or standing overhead barbell overhead press and a seated or standing dumbbell overhead press. Now, for barbell overheads, you can do front presses. Remember to try to keep your wrists over your elbows if it's a front press. And if it's a behind the neck press, same thing, wrists over elbows. Push press, military press, standing press, I don't care. If you're going to do dumbbells, you can do Arnold's. You can do alternating dumbbell bench press. You can do a single arm dumbbell bench press. I don't care. But I want you to do both a barbell and a dumbbell overhead press. And I don't want you to do low reps on this stuff because I have found that rep work is better for shoulder health and better volume is better for building good shoulders. So I'd like you to stay between about 8 to 10, even 8 to 15 rep sets on your overhead press work. For barbell stuff, I like to go a little bit heavier, 8 to 10 reps, sometimes 6 to 10 reps. For dumbbell stuff, I really like going 10 to 15 reps. So that should be the cornerstone of building big shoulders. Get in at least two exercises each week, compound movements. So, all right, guys, I'm going to be on here for about 30 minutes. And just send me your questions or whatever. Go Workout said, just watched your video about your marathon. Any tips on incorporating running or cardiovascular endurance in the routine while building muscle? The biggest thing that I learned is that hiking works wonders. Like we're avid hikers. Fiona's over there doing some sewing. She's making a bunny costume. But we're avid hikers, and we would hike 4, 6, 8, sometimes 10 miles on the weekend, not just flat level hiking. And this has a point, but we do some really intense hiking. Your heart rate would stay elevated for 4, 6 hours. And really, when we went to run, it was pretty easy to run a mile or 2 without stopping, even for a big guy. Right, Fiona?
Because we had the endurance built up.
Right. So I like hiking. You can do hiking just, a day or 2 on the weekend. That's a good way to start. As far as like running without, losing muscle, I don't run a lot. Really, the marathon was more about mental strength, and I didn't run the entire way because it was a trail marathon. It was running and not running and running and going uphill. None of the trail runners really ran the entire way, but really, running comes down to running for 20 to 30 minutes about 3 times a week and just being consistent. Once a week, we'll run for an hour. You do that, you get plenty of calories. It's not going to steal any muscle gains, trust me.
It'll make your heart healthier.
Robert Chinetsky is in the house. I just talked to Robert on the phone, and I think I pronounced his name correctly. He's a writer over at Tiger Fitness. Tom McGivern says, I've gained size in weeks. I progress on overhead pressing, and I'm a skinny guy. Way to go. Keep up the overhead pressing.
Ooh.
Old Mark's best said, never do behind the neck presses. I did them for 20 years and didn't die. There is a way to do them correctly. You don't want to take them too deep. The further back the elbows or shoulders go, the more stress you're going to place on your shoulders. I like to take them about here, where the elbow is just about parallel. Take it down to no lower than bottom of ear level. Make sure to keep your wrists over your elbows. And if you're a big guy, you probably don't want to do BTN presses because it forces your elbows back a little bit too much and puts pressure on your elbows, but they're not going to kill you. Any thoughts on the Bradford press? Honestly, it's a variation I know of, but I've never tried, so I don't have any personal experience with it. I would go over to the Massive Iron Group, which is linked below over on Facebook. We got like 2,500 members now. It's really thriving. Go over there, ask that question. You'll get a lot of great feedback. Let's see. Let me get some caffeine molecules right here. Robert says, what do you think of doing tons of reps with banded face pulls? You know what? A banded face pull is a limited resistance. You're not going to have an increase in resistance. So at some point you have to increase some way of challenging your rear delts. You can do them for a month and you're going to see some progress in a month. But after about a month, once the body has adapted to something, there's really a limited return on investment. If you do a certain technique for a month and then you don't add any more resistance, it's not going to really help you build any more muscle. You got to find a way to increase the intensity. Jean-Francois Marash. Sorry, I tried my best. What are the benefits of improving aerobic fitness for hypertrophy? You can train better. Like when I was a big dude, I didn't have a lot of aerobic or anaerobic capacity. You can train better. You can train more efficiently. You can challenge your body in ways you couldn't normally challenge. You'll recover more quickly in between sets. And you know what? The body is just more efficient. The body is more efficient. It's healthier in general. So I don't recommend really. I've always been really into fitness, other than maybe the 8 years where I got really, really fat and obese. But it's just a good synergy. When you can wake up on any given day and do whatever you want outside of the gym, run or hike or whatever, in the gym, just being more efficient is just a good thing. I'm not going to sit here and say like it increases your muscle gains by X percentage, because that's really not really what it's about. It's about health and longevity. And, it's like clearing the freeway. When you go to the freeway, you can just let that car run full speed. You know what I'm saying? You don't have roadblocks or whatever in your way. Let's see. What's going on, lifting dermatologists? Haven't seen you on here in a while. And let's see. All right, guys, I'll be on for about a half an hour. If you have any questions, just... All right. Robert, I nailed his name. Upright row is also good. See, the trap is for trap. It's not a lift. It's a pull. I'm not sure what you're referring there. Let's see here. Thoughts on the West Side system? I've done some videos on the West Side, and it's not a system for beginners. It's not really a system most guys need. It's simply not needed for most guys. Most guys can build plenty of muscle and strength without West Side. You really need to spend a lot of time in the gym, building up quality strength, working on your form, and outside of that, you can get Herculean strong without ever needing to worry about West Side. West Side is something you really need to study and understand before you approach it, and before you even attempt it in the gym. Hold on a minute here. I gotta pull this off. Hold on a minute, guys. Sorry, I had to hide some trolls. There we go. I think I got the trolls off. Wait, we got one more to go. Sorry. Always got to be some assholes on this channel that try to dig up something about you from like 10 years ago. Like, did you really make a mistake 5 years ago? Yes, I did. Go fuck off. All right.
Make a mistake.
What's your height and weight? I am 5'10", and losing weight quickly. Ben on Adventure says, I love dumbbell overhead presses in the 10 to 20 rep range. Yes, so do I. When it comes to dumbbell work, I really, really, really enjoy reps over 10. I really enjoy 10 to 15 reps more on dumbbell work. It just feels really good. And, barbell work, I'm so used to going heavy that when it comes to dumbbell work, I just like to get my volume in. Robert Chinetsky said for face pulls, should you let the shoulder blades protract in between reps or keep them retracted throughout the exercise? Should you let the shoulder blades, you know what? I'm not a big fan. I'm just not a big fan of rear delt work to begin with. I just never find it, I just never find it satisfying. I don't overthink rear delt work. What I try to do is get in my volume and progress. When I pull on rear delts, what I think about is driving the elbows and shoulders back and really feeling my rear delts. I just let the shoulder blades do what they do in that, in that realm. So when I'm doing rear delt work, I just try to pull my shoulders and elbows back at the same time and really try to feel my rear delts and get in my volume. I'm not sure if that answers your question. Old Max's Best says, what's your opinion on going to failure? My opinion is that there's a lot of idiotic opinions about going to failure. There's a lot of blanket statements about training to failure from people that don't understand lifting. Like, you should always train to failure, you should never train to failure. Both statements are foolish, and here's why. They make the assumption that every exercise is equal. Some exercises, it's easy to train to failure. Some exercises, it's extremely difficult to train to failure. Some exercises training to failure increases your risk of injury dramatically. Some exercises you can easily train to failure without any risk of injury. So anybody that makes blanket statements, and you can quote me on this, anyone that makes blanket statements about how you should always or never train to failure is a fool and doesn't understand lifting. It is not something you can just cover with a blanket and say always or never. You have to analyze the risk and the reward. As far as muscle fiber recruitment, the deeper into a set you go, the more reps you do, the more muscle fibers you're recruiting. As a muscle fatigues with more reps, it's going to start to recruit more muscle fibers to push that weight. And that is really an important stimulus for hypertrophy, and one we rarely ever talk about in our era that is obsessed with linear progression, that is obsessed with set and rep schemes. They're obsessed with hypertrophy. They're obsessed with all things hypertrophy except this one aspect of hypertrophy, which is picking up your testicles and working hard. So, boy, I went on a ramble there. Rich E says, for the barbell overhead press, I currently have my rep goal at 18 for 3 sets. Is that too low? I'd probably bump that up a little bit because that's about an average of 6 reps. I'd probably bump that up to 20 or maybe even 22, maybe even 24. It's going to be easier to progress. It's going to be easier on the shoulders. So I would probably bump that up a little bit. And whatever you're doing right now, just keep pushing that till you get to like 24 reps or 22 reps or whatever, and then just adjust your rep goal. Let's see. Great stuff here, Steve. You're a true inspiration. Thank you very kindly. Looking for overall fitness and from Wisconsin to boot. Cheesehead Powers, go Packers. Cheesehead Power, go Packers. Have you ever heard of Marvin Eder? Absolutely. Marvin Eder is one of my favorite old school bodybuilders. I just love diving into his programming. There isn't a lot of information on Marvin out there, but the information on his programming, that's one of the, back when I started preaching the value of full body workouts, maybe 10, 12 years ago, before a lot of people actually were into it, I was studying a lot about the old school guys because they would train long and hard on their full body and they just had amazing physique. So yeah, I love Marvin Eder. Let's see. The orcs have gathered $300. That's wonderful. Thank you. Let's see if we can get rid of the juveniles off the channel.
What's a yolk?
Sorry. We're trying to get rid of the trolls here on the new wonderful. All right, thanks for the help, you bet. Do more volume. Let's see. How much protein do I need during a cut? Generally, during a cut, you need to increase your protein level just a little bit, I would say. During a cut, you're going to you want to keep a positive nitrogen balance. During a cut, you're probably going to be cutting back carbs a little bit, just a little bit, because I find that when I'm doing a cut, I don't like to eat as many carbs. I feel a little bit more bloated. You want to keep about the same number of fats because fat is something you need for overall health, for brain health, for skin health, all that kind of good stuff. So you're not going to be really changing your fats much when you're decreasing your calories. When it comes to protein and carbs, those are the other two variables. Generally, what you're going to be cutting out more of anything is carbs when you're cutting, just a little bit, not dramatically. So you're going to be decreasing that a little bit. And then I like to increase protein maybe by 10%, just because I want to make sure I stay in a positive nitrogen balance. And, you want to do everything you can to try to maximize the muscle you have. So I just like to increase it a hair, but I don't go too crazy. All right, let me get rid of the troll here.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Why are they so bad?
It's just a bunch of little kids. Back when I had a Kia, my new Kia, the car broke down, and the kids don't understand what it's like to be an adult because they never had to pay bills. But yeah, the new.
That's like ages ago.
Yeah, it's just a kid. All right, get rid of that troll. What's your camera and mic setup on your phone? It's just a phone, just a phone. Cameron Nem says tips to achieve intermediate numbers quicker. The best way to achieve intermediate numbers quicker is to check out my book, Massive Arm, which you can find below or find it at superlivingtoday.com. When it comes to making as much progress as quickly as possible, that's really what I try to preach in all the videos. You can just watch my library. If you don't want to watch my book, watch my library of videos. You want to have a good exercise selection. You want to have some kind of a progression scheme. You want to be consistent. You want to have a good diet. And I really believe in maximizing sets, taking sets for as many quality reps as possible. This is an auto-regulated style of progression. You're going to be maximizing progress safely. And that really is my favorite way. And I like to say it's best because it's my way. But really, as long as you have a good exercise selection, a reasonable volume, you're consistent, you're progressing, you're getting in a good amount of food. The biggest reason why people don't get big and strong as quickly as possible is because they're really not pushing themselves in the gym. And I like to return people to basics, making every set count. Let's see, cardio after weight training, absolutely. People in the bodybuilding realm or muscle building realm fear cardio. You can't do that stuff. The thought that you're going to lose all your gains if you do cardio is really idiotic. The benefits of cardio are just too numerous to recap. But as long as your diet is good and you're not under eating, and you're not doing cardio to an excessive degree, you're going to be fine. I ran a marathon 2 weekends ago. Last weekend, I did a 6-hour workout with Alan Roberts. And I don't do that stuff every day. And I'm not losing any muscle mass. James DeTruck Miller says, any benefit to doing shoulder presses behind the neck? You know what? I just did it because it was something in the bodybuilding world. And when you're a skinnier guy, you can get away with it because, again, you don't have a lot of that bulk or girth and you're not pulling your hand back. You can see, like, when you're skinnier, the bigger you get, the more bulk you get on your traps, the further back your elbow is going to get and the more stress it's going to place on your shoulders. So really, I don't really find them any more beneficial. Um, you can try them if you like. Personal experience is something you should spend some time trying them if you're interested in them. But really, as long as you're doing two shoulder variations and you're getting strong on those dumbbell and barbell variations, you're going to be fine. I've been watching many of your videos lately, catching up on your content. Great advice. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Everyone is at different strength levels, but what would you consider to be a decently strong, decently decent strength level? Um, I'm going to tell you my experience, and then I'm going to tell you what I think for others. I was skinny fat, and I was really weak. The first time I benched, I got pinned under 95 pounds on my third rep. After like 18 months of lifting, I was doing 275 for 3 or 4 reps. I was squatting 365 for 3 or 4 reps. And I wasn't really deadlifting because deadlifting wasn't really something that was pushing the bodybuilding realm. That's what I did after 18 months. I think a good goal for anybody is to get 275 for reps on the bench, to get 365 for multiple reps on the squat, and with the deadlift 400 to 450 for multiple reps. If you get to that level and you just add in some good volume on your training, you're pretty darn strong. Now, some people are going to go on and say that's pretty weak. Well, it's not weak compared to the average human being. And guys at that strength level can train at that strength level and do a lot of volume for the rest of their life and pretty much not beat up their body. And they're going to build a good body. They're going to be reasonably strong. They're going to be functionally strong. It's going to help them with sport. So that's really good basic level goals. That's not powerlifting strong. That's not superhuman strong. But you know what? When I see a guy in the gym benching 275 plus, I have for multiple reps. I have respect for him because not many people get there. Let's be real. Most of the bros in the gym don't get there. Most of the bros in the gym aren't doing 365 on squats for 3 or 4 reps. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I think a lot of guys would love to hear about eaters and similar people's training approach. But yeah, maybe I'll do another video on that in the near future. It's probably been like 6 years since I looked at Marvin's approach. Thoughts on Norton's fat? Man, it's been a long. I know the basics of his fat program. I really don't like having strength days and hypertrophy days because strength days are hypertrophy days. I don't like all the labels. I don't like the over analysis. It's a good upper lower program. I like upper lowers compared to full bodies for late intermediate or early intermediates or late beginners to early intermediates and even intermediates. It's a good option. I think some of it's overthinking, but it's a decent program. And you know what? Any program is going to be beneficial as long as you work it hard. So give it a try. Let's see. Would you say 20 to 22 rep goal is good for the squat as well? I think so. If you're at about 22, you're averaging about 7 reps. So you're probably doing like 10 reps on the first set, 8 reps on the second, and maybe 6 on the third, or 9, 7, 5. That's pretty good for the squat. I would not go below that. In fact, that's a good range to be at. But as you get stronger, you might want to bump up that rep goal a little bit, just so you're not, if your main goal is just like power building, so you're not going heavy, heavy, heavy all the time. Let's see. Fitness in the house. That's great. Thank you. Let's see. I go on to 1 rep shy of failure. Glad I know my body well. Yeah, that's really what I advocate, is going 1 rep shy of failure, about 1 rep shy of failure. This is a little bit safer. It's really not needed to go to failure, and that's you really learn your body that way and your limits. Fitness does not equal powerlifting. Someone tell the Merc this, please. No, fitness does not equal powerlifting. Fitness is fitness. Fitness is freedom. Fitness has nothing to do with a specific sport or challenge. Fitness is about freedom, getting up and being able to do what you want to do. And it's usually a combination of things. If I want to drop down and do 100 push-ups, can I do that? If I want to go run a half marathon, can I do that? If I want to go hike 10 miles, can I do that? It's not that you have to do all these things, but you have to have a reasonable degree of fitness so you can do any of these things. And there's functional fitness. What's the ultimate level of functional fitness? Being able to have sex without having a coronary. Like when it comes to people like the fake Merc, I can't imagine him going longer than 30 seconds without having to be covered in sweat and want to drop over and die. How's it going, Christian? Welcome aboard. Good to see you today. How to increase overhead press from 185 to 225. You know what? You do it the same way you increase everything. I would recommend it's harder to progress in low reps when it comes to the barbell overhead press. I don't like doing that in 5-rep sets. I'd like to do that in 8 to 10 rep sets. You probably want to do 3 sets of 10, 4 sets of 10, 3 sets of 8, 4 sets of 8 with 185. And then when it feels manageable, just add 5 pounds. It's going to take a long time. How long is it going to take? I don't know. It could take 2 to 3 years to get to increase to increase a lift as an intermediate. It's going to take time. So I'm not sure if you're talking about 1 rep max or multiple reps, but it will take time. Just be patient, do a little bit more reps, and I think you'll be fine. How strong should I get before training for hypertrophy? Strength training is hypertrophy training. They're not different. So check out my book, Massive Iron, link below. Should I drink bleach as a pre-workout? If you're thinking about it, you probably shouldn't do it. Thank you for your question. You probably need to take your medication. Steve, good news. 9 months ago, could only do 90-pound dumbbell bench for 1 rep. Now I can do 90 for 4 reps. That's 50 for 1 rep. That's awesome, all while cutting. Is that good progression? That's excellent progression. And it shows you that when you're cutting, you can still build strength if your strength levels are not, at intermediate level. You brought yourself up to a good intermediate strength level while a cut. So it is definitely possible, and that's wonderful progression. Overhead press hurts my traps like hell. Yes, it does. Pressing, your traps are involved with overhead pressing, and that's kind of a good backup or assistance work. A backup plan for traps. People want to know how to build good traps, deadlifts, power shrugs, farmer's carries, static holds, and a lot of overhead pressing. How not to feel like I'm dying on leg days. If you feel fatigued, the only way to not feel fatigued is to improve your conditioning level. Not much I can help you there outside of improving your conditioning level. You might want to do some cardio. You got to stick with it. If you feel like you're dying, you're probably a little bit out of shape. You just got to stick with it. Let's see, if overhead press hurts your traps, you need to keep doing it. Yeah, you're going to get a little bit sore, so that's all good. I get sore on my traps when overhead pressing. All right, guys, it's been about 28 minutes. I'm going to keep answering questions as long as you guys have them. Been working on upper body for a year and gotten great results. Just started legs. Will I get newbie results as well with legs, even though I have been training upper body for a while? Yeah, if you haven't trained a muscle group, newbie gains aren't just like head to toe. Like if you just train upper body, you're going to experience newbie gains, but you won't on your legs if you haven't trained them before. If you haven't trained a muscle group, they're going to get up to speed and size really, really quickly. So it's muscle group specific. Let's see. Come on, Steve. The epitome of functional fitness is squatting on a Bosu ball using only one leg. Yes, it is, and I don't. Go ahead and try that and get a lot of videos of that, please. Tips on losing those mid-40 love handles, little Buddha belly. The biggest tip I can give you, Martin, is to hire the big, hairy, ugly dude as your weight loss coach. You can go over to superlivingtoday.com. I do a full coaching program, and I get up in your business. I have you take pictures of your meals and send it to me. I stay on your butt. So the best way to lose weight is to hire the big, hairy, ugly dude as a coach. So head over to superlivingtoday.com. But seriously, the best way, it really comes down to calorie deficit. You got to be in a calorie deficit, and you probably need to increase the amount you're moving each day. That's no magic. That's as simple as it gets. Thanks, Edward Goose, for your support. Tariq Satadi says, what numbers should you be hitting at an intermediate level? Intermediate should probably be benching 275 for reps, squatting 365 for reps, and deadlifting 400 plus for reps. That's probably early intermediate level. Favorite lateral delt exercise. Man, my favorite delt exercises are overhead presses. That's really the only favorite exercises I have. When it comes to beyond that, I like doing bulldozer laterals. You can search on my channel, bulldozer lateral. That is my favorite side delt exercise. Is there anybody worse than the fake Merce? There's a couple people that are extremely annoying in the fitness industry, but I really don't watch a lot of other channels. I just support my friends, Alan Roberts, Elgin, and a few other good guys like that, Shredded Sports Science, and just some guys like that. I don't like all the drama. I'm in this to help people, so everybody else can go fuck off. Have you thought of doing strongman training? Nah, man. It's never been anything I'm excited about. I have friends that are strongmen that train that way. I have really good friends that have been at the gym that train strongman, and I appreciate it. But it's just nothing I really personally have ever been excited about. Sleeve 12, you bet. Glad to help. Tariq says, do you think abs grow primarily as you get stronger, or your main lifts, or through direct work? Both. I don't think that any minor muscle group is going to reach its potential just with compound movements. So you want to do direct, you want to challenge them directly as well. Should I pause on overhead press? You can pause on overhead press, but you need to stay tight. So just remember that. Started adding Bulgarian split squats for the first time. Yeah, legs are toast. Yeah, just be careful. Make sure they're not hurting your knees. RXL's PlayStation Domination. Rep ranges for bench presses, assisted pull-ups, and squats. I don't like. You can go down as low as 5 reps, but I like to stay between for bench press and squats. I generally like to stay between 6 to 10 reps during the first 2 to 3 years as you're building muscle and strength. That's probably my favorite rep range for those really intense compound movements. Ben, you and your wife have a great weekend. Thank you. Get out for a hike. Thanks, Ben. You have a great weekend as well. Let's see. Why has flat bench never felt natural to me? I've mixed up grip and workout on technique. You know what? Bench press is my most frustrating lift. It can be the most technical lift for me. I'm not saying it's the most technical lift for everybody, but for me, it is the most technical lift. It never feels natural. I don't know why that is for me. Deadlift feels most natural for me. But all I can say is just keep working on form, just keep pushing yourself for more consistent form, and just keep learning. That's all I can really say. Adonis says, is it okay to add extra tricep work to one of your beginner programs to Massive Iron Beginner Program? The triceps, the back, and the quads can take a big beating. So yes, it's probably okay to add an exercise to any of those areas if you feel you have the time or energy. I feel a better pump when I do the reps faster for bench. Is that good or bad? You know what? When it comes to speed on the bench, the main priority is that you are staying tight and you have a good setup. If you are compromising your tightness and your setup for speed, your body might be able to deal with that right now, but over time it is going to beat you up as you get stronger. So speed is okay, explosiveness is okay on a movement. Just make sure that you are staying tight or you're going to tear up your shoulders. Let's see, do high bar squats have a better carryover to other movements than low bar? No, they're really, when it comes to the unique physiology of any of us, bone length, leverages, all that kind of good stuff. High bar and low bar really come down to what is better for the individual. When I'm coaching somebody, I will adjust them as needed. But getting strong on the squats is going to carry over just about, it'll carry over equally high bar or low bar. You're going to have some differences in the muscles that are involved, maybe more hip activation, maybe more glute activation. But you know what? In my training philosophy, we are trying to make everything from head to toe as strong as humanly possible. And if you approach things that way, you won't have any weaknesses, and you won't have to worry about just with one lift maximize and carry over, etc., etc. You're one of the few YouTubers, fitness celeries I actually subscribe to. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. See, Lucas says my right pec is considerably smaller than my left pec, and bench is unsteady. Do you have any tips for equalizing? You have to focus on what you can control. I would drop to more volume on the bench press instead of heavy work, like do like 4 sets of 10. I would also back that up with unilateral exercises. Do alternating dumbbell bench press. All right. And don't advance until you can do like 3 sets of 10 with each arm until the strength levels are about the same on each arm. And then I would back that maybe with a volume of push ups, maybe 100 push ups a week, if not more. And you have to apply that over a long period of time. Fixing imbalances is going to require a lot of work over a long period of time, and you just have to understand that. Outside of powerlifting, were you ever interested in competing in other sports? I have competed in wrestling. I was a baseball player for many, many years. I was a basketball player and competed in basketball, even in college basketball. I was in cross country. I spent some time as a professional wrestler. I've been a marathoner. I've competed in mud runs. I've played softball. I've done a lot of sports in my years. A lot of people just think of me as a power lifter, but that's just something I tried for a while. So I've been involved with other sports.
You tried it for a while.
Yeah, I tried it for a while. I got a little bit kind of good at it, but yeah, I've competed. Jay Parker says, shout out from New Mexico. I went to college in Socorro, New Mexico. So, been a long time since I've been there. I really need to get my butt back.
I've never been.
Do I need to do direct bicep work if I do a lot of heavy back work and pull ups? Yes, you do. And I know from experience that a lot of back work and pull ups are great, but you're still going to lack that 10 to 20% of size and strength. When I stopped doing bicep work for 2 to 3 years, my eccentrics on my bench press got really, really slow, noticeably slower. And I started to pick up a lot of strains in my biceps and in my arms. Yes, you do need direct work. HIIT versus LISS. Man, I hate cardio. I hate gym cardio. Go hiking for 10 miles. Go hiking for 6 miles. Go running. Go do some hill sprints. Have fun with your cardio. Don't overthink this stuff. I don't get in the hit or list debate because it's not the world I live in. The world I live in is fitness. The world I live is in health and longevity. And you do whatever you want to do, whatever you enjoy doing. But I would try to get out of the gym when doing it. Uh, let's see, when is your new music coming out? I'm in the studio tomorrow finishing up the last 2 songs. And after that, we got a lot of post-production work to do for about 4 months. So it's probably not, I don't think it's going to be out till like January of the new year, my first full album. Shout out from Romania. Glad to see you, Romania. And our squats and deads enough to build a thick, strong core. Squats and deads are great for a good, strong core. There are other exercises you need to do, though, for squat strength. Unilateral exercises like standing single-arm dumbbell bench presses, or excuse me, dumbbell overhead presses are great for core stability. You also probably need to do planks and ab wheel rollouts, and after that, probably not a lot else. Hit the like button, dinks. Yes. All right, guys, I'm about done for today. I just want to remind you that you can come over and join the Massive Iron Group linked down below. And I'm doing coaching. I'm doing weight loss coaching. And I'm also going to be doing complete diet and body coaching, or body recomposition coaching. You can check that out at Super Living Today, or check out the link below. If you need a workout assessment, I do that as well. I do a diet assessment. I do form assessment. Come over, check it out. I want to help you guys out. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, check out the link below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching, and
stay super sexy.
Stay super sexy, people.
See ya.
And all those trolls out there, you can keep trolling me. You know what? It don't bother
I
me.
love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Bring
just
it
go back to
on.
your
Bring it
masturbation.
on.